Worth of cocaine found hidden all over an SUV puts these two women behind bars.
This is Raquel Antilla, an Instagram model slash singer who is actually very talented.
Over, but it's still in your eyes.
Still in your eyes.
Even though we used to argue, it's alright.
And this is Melissa Dufour, a fitness influencer who also happens to be an Instagram model as well. And what do these two beautiful women have in common? Well, they both got caught trafficking a large amount of cocaine from Houston along the interstate all the way to Atlanta. And now they are both sitting in a cell, unfortunately, because come to find out, beneath the glitz and the glamour and all the IG flexing that includes exotic trips and expensive dinners lies two women at the heart of $1 million drug operation that allegedly could have been used to fund it all. But how deep does the rabbit hole go? Who are these two women, and how did these two influencers who look like OnlyFans models go from running up likes on Instagram to trying to run up a bag on the interstate with millions of dollars of hard drugs, 217 pounds of cocaine, and exactly how did they get caught? Well, we're gonna dive into all of that, but first, I am Joe Stone, and this is the Church of Joe Stone podcast. We find the most shocking and provocative news and take it to church. Now, Raquel Dolores Antilla was known to her growing fan base as Rocky. With over 100,000 followers on Instagram, she was a very popular singer and model. And across the country in sun-drenched, and her friend who was from Miramar, Florida, Melissa Dufour, who also had over 10,000 followers in the fitness and fashion niche on Instagram, had her own brand and also seemed to be a successful influencer. But apparently these two women who both look like they are supposed to be friends and were on the same career path, seemingly didn't stop at just flexing for Instagram. They needed to get some real money, and well, things took a very, very quick turn. Because on a fateful Thursday, on a routine drive that I'm guessing is routine drive on Interstate 10, came what would be the beginning of the end for their social media careers and probably the rest of their lives, or as they knew it, beginning with a traffic stop because, well, that's how you get caught trafficking, usually. But what happened? Raquel and Melissa started their journey in Houston, but this was no ordinary road trip, as we've already talked about, and they wouldn't make it to their destination ever because Alabama's Mobile County Sheriff's Office had their eyes open and were looking for suspicious looking vehicles and suspicious looking passengers with suspicious packages. Once they were pulled over, the police spoke with both women and their story started to unravel. They didn't get their story straight before, I guess, hopping on the road, and when they started talking to police, had very different ideas about where they were supposed to be going and what they were supposed to be doing. All this inconsistency alerted the police and they wanted to do some digging. The sheriff's office decided to take things a step further, but they had no idea what they were going to find that these two young women were hiding. As we all know, the devil is in the details. So as sheriffs started to conduct their investigation, they called a K9 unit over to the Ford Expedition. The K9 unit alerted on the vehicle and they started searching even further, now with probable cause. Now they knew that there was narcotics in the car, and once they began to look, what they found blew their mind. In a dramatic reveal, this seemingly ordinary Ford Expedition transformed into something out of James Bond with hidden compartments all throughout the vehicle. In the back seat, the floor, the side panels, all ingeniously altered to hold a sinister amount of cargo, 217 pounds of pure white booger sugar, $2 to $3 million worth of this illicit snow product, hidden in plain sight, ready to blanket the streets of Atlanta. And with how sophisticated their hiding methods were, they knew that they had stumbled upon something that probably wasn't a small operation. After going through the car and extracting all of the narcotics, the cuffs went on the wrists of Rocky and Melissa, and they were shoved into the back of a police car and arrested. Now U.S. Border Patrol would be stepping in to dig through their lives and their world of followers and all the glitz and glamour on Instagram where they were showing off their bodies and all the cool places they were going suddenly was not important anymore and was probably going to be used against them in the court of law if the police have anything to say about it. And also, this turned something that was a small traffic stop into something bigger. We're not talking about a small amount of illegal substances. We're talking about a truckload, and we're talking about headed from one state to another, one major city to another. Sounds like a drug ring to me. But now these two are being held in Mobile County Jail where they will have to face justice and a bunch of charges. The sheriff did comment on this, saying that they are looking for these types of people, and if you're going through their area with this type of merchandise, they will be stopping you, finding it, and putting you in jail. But this leaves us to a host of other questions. Why did these women do it? Could they not make it in the music business? Does Instagram not pay enough? Were they not able to sustain the type of life that they wanted to show off to the world on their own dime? And it was either that or OnlyFans, and they chose selling a little dope. And also, were they working alone? You don't move that kind of weight that way without working with someone. And I don't know if I believe that these two women are the kingpins behind it all. They could possibly be, but something tells me that if you have that type of money, you have that type of product, you probably aren't driving your own stuff around, which means that they were are probably going to be investigated heavily, and the police are going to want to find out where they got it from, who they're working with, and if they don't say what they need to say, they're probably going to be facing very real time. Not even probably, they are. And even if they do snitch, I don't know if they're getting out scot-free. So whoever was working with them is probably a little bit worried about the fact that these two women got snatched up and the fact that they were